Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. You like that? I know you did. In today's video, we will, no, stop. Cut it. Cut it out. Hi, my name is Candace. And I'm your host. Welcome to What the Smut Book Reviews, where most of the time we review books, and sometimes I just stick around because I'm lazy and I haven't read anything. In today's video, though, we are going to review a book. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the second book in Larissa Ione's Demonica series, which is called Desire Unchained. I feel like that's like perfect, like that basically like sums up the meat and potatoes of my channel, right? Desire Unchained. Yeah. So this is a paranormal romance book, obviously. This is, like I said, book 2 of her Demonica series. Book 1 was called Pleasure Unbound, which you can find my review for that a few videos back. This book has 353 pages. So that's a pretty standard size, little chunky. You can currently get this book for your Kindle or Nook for the price of $5.99. You can get the mass market paperback on Amazon brand new for $6. Unless you're an exclusive e-reader, buy the paperback. More bang for your buck. You have a physical book that you can hold in your hands for $1 more. No, I'm a liar. For 1 penny more than the audio digital download. What the fuck am I talking about? Then for the 1 penny more than the digital downloadable. Idiot. Anyway, just buy the mass market paperback. It's $6. Okay. You can currently get this book used on eBay for about $5 with free shipping. But again, the mass market brand new, $6. $1 more. It seems like a no-brainer. I'm one of those people who doesn't really care about used books. Like, as long as the condition is good, I don't care if it's used. I'm not like OCD like that. I love Goodwills. I love thrift stores. I thrift all the time. 3/4 of my wardrobe is probably like thrifted clothes. But it is what it is. If it's in good shape and it's clean and it's whatever, then why? Why wouldn't you? It's cheaper. Save your coin for more books. Right? Okay. So, I will read you guys the blurb for this. And then we can break it down a little bit because I love this book. And I'll give you my rating, and then you guys will be free of me for today because I haven't even started, and I think you guys can tell that I'm going to be a fucking mess as usual. So this blurb says, pleasure is their ultimate weapon. ... Ooh, seminous demons, I think is what they're referring to. Runa Wagner never meant to fall in love with the sexy stranger who seemed to know her every deepest desire. But she couldn't resist the unbelievable passion that burned between them, a passion that died when she discovered his betrayal and found herself forever changed. Now, determined to make Shade pay for the transformation that haunts her, Runa searches for him, only to be taken prisoner by his darkest enemy. A seminous demon with a love curse that threatens him with eternal torment, Shade hoped he'd seen the last of Runa and her irresistible charm. But when he wakes up in a dank dungeon, chained next to an enraged and mysteriously powerful Runa, he realizes that her effect on him is more dangerous than ever. As their captor casts a spell that bonds them as life mates, Shade and Runa must fight for their lives and their hearts, or succumb to a madman's evil plan. Okay. This novel is your quintessential paranormal romance novel, right? It has a lot of sex. A bukus of sex, okay? Which is what we're here for. We're here. But it also has like elements of what you would expect from a good paranormal romance. It has demons and werewolves and vampires and like that whole realm of paranormal, the good shit, right? The two main characters, Runa and Shade. Runa used to be human. In her human form, she owned a coffee shop. I think it was either a coffee shop or a bookstore. I think it was a coffee shop. That was basically going under. She had a brother at home who was dying of some unknown disease. She is in her store one day and in walks this leather-clad Hottie McHotterson. And he's like, hey girl, what's up? You're looking good. I want a coffee and I want, a bagel or whatever. Whatever. But meet me out back in the alley if I want to talk to you for a second. Like he drags her back there and they bang in the alley, which is like scandalous. She's never in her life. Anyway, he leaves and he finds himself coming back for more. And he basically, they start seeing each other. And brain fart. They start seeing each other and they're seeing each other for a while. And she catches him cheating on her. He's a seminous demon. So he's essentially like the sub series subcategory of like an incubus. He needs sex several times a day. Right? So if he's not getting it just from her, he's got to spread himself around, right? So he bangs people on the side and she doesn't know about that. Anyway, she catches him in bed with two. She tries to surprise him at home, oh, I'm gonna cook you a nice romantic dinner, and I find you in bed with two bitches. Okay. So she he tries to play it off and he's like, why don't you join us, baby? And she's devastated, obviously, and she runs out. After she runs out, she gets attacked by some creature in the night. Fast forward, I forget, it was like a year or something like that later. 3 years later. And she's a werewolf now. She, during the time that she was with Shade met her brother and realized that he was suffering from a demon-derived illness. He basically cured the illness with powers that he has. And the brother went on to head a secret military unit for paranormal stuffs. So after she's turned into a werewolf and she gets through her initial what is my life now, she also joins the military and she goes to work with her brother in this elite paranormal task force, right? So her mission is to get close to Shade again so that she can infiltrate Underworld General, the hospital where him and his brothers work, and get information to take back to her unit about the demons and what all's going on there, right? So, but before she can get close to Shade or get close to Underworld General, she's essentially abducted by this grotesque, burned up, shrivelly looking dude with a slight Irish accent. she's thrown into like a dungeon and a cell, and she wakes up and she's like, who the fuck is this in here with me? Okay, well, it's Shade, right? So he has also been kidnapped. Neither of them were meant to be kidnapped. The enemy who kidnapped them was trying to get at Shade's brother, Wraith, who is half demon, half, well, okay. In this realm, even if one of your parents is a different breed or a different species, the offspring will, if one of them is a demon, the offspring will be a pure-blooded demon, but it will inherit characteristics from its mother. So Wraith is a pure-blooded seminous demon, but he also has vampire characteristics. So his mom was a vampire, basically. And so he drinks blood and whatever. So there's this thing with the demons in this realm that's called Sagenesis. And it's essentially like a coming of age type thing. Like up until a certain point, they're able to go out and they carouse and they sow their wild oats and whatever. And then the Sagenesis happens. And at the time of Sagenesis, they have to either take a mate for life and only have sex with that mate forever, or they don't take a mate and they basically go insane. So they become like this mindless sex machine, and they're going to take it whether you want to give it or not. And they're basically like their main DNA function is to just go out and impregnate as many people as possible, as many women as possible. So a lot of times post-Sagenesis males get killed because they either have a run-in with like somebody's husband and they get offed, or they get taken out by somebody, one of the councils who oversees like the different breeds of species of things, because they've just gone completely off the rails and they're just like sticking it in wherever they want. So what was I talking about? Anyway, so Shade is coming up on his Sagenesis, and he wakes up in this gross dungeon with Runa, and he meets this shrivelly, burnt up piece of crisp who, spoiler alert, turns out to be one of his other brothers, who he thought died like several years earlier in a fire attack that was done by like this group called the Aegis. The Aegis is similar to like the paranormal military operation, but it's like privately funded. It's like a sub thing, right? And they're basically like slayers, kind of like they're like Buffy's basically. But for like all kinds of creatures like demons and vampires and werewolves and whatever. And we talked about this a little bit in my previous review for Pleasure Unbound. I kind of explained a little bit more what the Aegis is. But that's essentially what they are. They're like a group of slayers. So yeah, so Runa wakes up and she finds herself in this dungeon with Shade, whom she hates and blames for her being attacked by a werewolf, because the way she sees it is, I would not have been attacked and left for dead if I had not been running out of your apartment crying because you were banging two hoes in your bed, right? So she harbors resentment towards him still. And Shade is, like I said, he's a seminous demon. He works as a paramedic for Underworld General. And he's just woken up in this dungeon, and met his brother who he thought was dead, who's now clearly certifiably insane. And who is out to kill Wraith, his other brother, because Wraith, well, I mean, he'll kill them all and he wants to destroy them all, but Wraith is really like the one he wants, because Wraith, another spoiler alert, called in a tip to the Aegis to let them know that Rogue, who was the crazy brother, was going to be in that club on the night it was attacked and burnt to the ground. And that was because Rogue was post-Genesis and had basically gone completely off the rails and was like raping and murdering human women. And Wraith was like, no, you got to go. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to low-key like report you to these slayers and they're going to take you out and do the dirty work for me. So Rogue survived the fire somehow. And now he's hell-bent on his revenge, right? And so it's like, surprise, surprise, it's me, your brother. And I'm gonna fuck up all your lives. So he's sitting back, Rogue is sitting back thinking how he can fuck up Shade's life the most. And he thinks to himself, okay, well, I'm going to somehow force Shade to take Runa as his life mate, which will basically speed up a curse that was placed on Shade many eons ago by the warlock husband of a woman he was banging. And the curse basically says that if Shade ever falls in love, that he will basically fade into nothing. He will be struck with like constant hunger, constant thirst, constant sexual desire that can't be sated, and he will eventually fade away until he's completely transparent and nobody can see or hear him, and he's just there miserable and suffering for the rest of his however long life. So that's his curse. He's been trying to avoid it. And so I like secretly he's been dreading Genesis because he knows that at that point he will either have to take a mate or he will have to, or he's gonna go nutsos, right? And he doesn't want to be like Rogue. And yeah, so that's that basically on that. So him and Runa do end up getting involved. They escape from the dungeon and they go to one of his many sexual hideouts in some like jungle place, Costa Rica or something. And while there, he has to protect her, help his brothers take out Rogue, and avoid falling in love with her. Because if he falls in love with her, then he's just going to basically disintegrate, right? And yeah, so that's that with that. There are also like sub characters. Obviously, Wraith is one of the main sub characters. Their other brother who does get his own book, and I'm like chomping at the bit for that one. There is also a few other characters that are more in the background, but who you can tell are also going to eventually get their own book. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, Jem and Kynan. Yeah, I want that. Give it to me. From what I've seen, this series has a good number of books out already, like 10, maybe more. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to keep going until I catch up, until I'm done, and then I'm going to be like, what am I supposed to do with my life? So, yeah. Anyway, that's that on that. For the rating for this book, I gave it a solid 9. I really did enjoy it. I really like Larissa Ione's like writing style. I like the fact that there's like humor peppered into her books. I like that there's like a fair amount of sexy times. And yeah, I would definitely recommend that you guys pick up this book and this series. Start from Pleasure Unbound. It is the first book. This is the second one. But if you're into paranormal romance and you like demon-based stuff and you like a book that's really good but doesn't take itself too seriously, like there's humor involved, there's banter, there's tit for tat. Like, I really enjoy that in my books. I don't like books that take themselves too seriously. But yeah, if you guys like that kind of style and you're into paranormal, you can't go wrong. Like, pick it up. And that's it. I'm done. If you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit that little bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. I try and upload videos every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because that's where I'm at. And yeah. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter account devoted to this channel. I will link them all in the description box below. And I will put a little banner here for you guys to see. And yeah, if you have any suggestions for any books that you would like for me to read or authors you think I should try out, leave them in the comments. I love getting comments. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got for tonight. You're free. Go. Run, free children, run. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Good enough with the good enough. Bad, 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 bad boy. You make me feel so good. Knew you would. I've been watching 3 Men and a Baby and like 3 Men and a Little Lady because Disney Plus, another subscription service that I have that I watch very rarely but and really can't afford, but I can. But anyway, let's get into it because my back is gonna snap in half. Ignore this little bit here. That's foundation that I literally just got on my shirt. Every time. Can't put on a shirt after putting on makeup without getting foundation all over the fucking collar of my shirt. So we're not going to talk about it. We're going to ignore it like it's not there. Okay. Now, determined to make Shade pay for the as their captor casts a spell that bonds them as I can't fucking read today. Sorry, shake it. Like, I can't even be mad anymore. I just get, like, so exasperated and just finish. Just drink as much as your little bladder will hold. Are you done? Are you done, Freckles? Thanks. Okay, anyway. What the fuck was I talking about? So, okay. Don't look at me. Like, could you be any louder? Anyway, okay, I'm done. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na.